So
Yeah.
let me ask you something. Your culture tells
Yeah.
you that it's moral to have two wives. But what if you yourself thought about that and you said, you know what? I don't think that's right. Even though my culture says that it's moral to have two wives, I don't think that's right. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna leave my stop interrupting. I'm gonna leave my culture and go to a culture that aligns with my morals. What do you say for people who do that, who leave cultures to find cultures that align with their morals? Because you're saying morals
Get,
are entirely
get,
cultural, but yet people change cultures for moral reasons. So how does that make sense?
That's not culture.
people don't change culture for moral reason. People change.
Some do.
No,
Some do.
no, no. I'm going to answer you, brother.
Hold on, pal, let him
You
finish,
can, you
pal.
can, you can't direct my answer. People don't change culture for moral reason. People change location for financial or safety reason. So when they get to where they go, then they adapt to the culture in that place. People don't leave Nigeria for moral reason to America. They left
Uh,
Nigeria
if,
for America for
Let him finish.
financial
if
reasons.
I grew up, if I grew up in California as a rolling 60s crip, and I did not agree
Yeah.
with gang culture, and I believed that gang culture was against my personal morals, and I said, I want to leave this hood because I don't want to be around this lifestyle. That is not me moving for financials. That is me making a moral
But
decision and saying that this
remember,
place,
remember,
Let him
stop, yo,
finish,
you
you
keep
can. Let
interrupting
him
me, bro.
finish, you can.
That would be me saying that this place that I reside doesn't align with my morals. My morals are I don't believe in killing somebody because they're wearing red. I don't believe in killing somebody because they're wearing blue. So I'm going to go somewhere and put myself in a culture that matches my personal morals. Again, you're not defeating the argument that morals are personal
okay.
because your
Can
morals
I
are
answer?
Hold
Can
on,
I
unique.
how you can.
can I
Hold
go
on,
ahead
let me
and
hold
answer?
on,
Can I
hold
answer
on,
now?
hold on. Let me get Venus in there, then I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Venus.
Okay, hey, real quick, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Hey, everybody. I wanted to address what the woman, I think Miss Taken was saying earlier. Because I'm gonna just speak about culture, current day, right? Okay, I want to talk about current day Black community, right, in America. So, education rates with Black children are horrible. Reading levels are horrible. High imprisonment rates, mental health issues, drug use, right? How we're performing economically, even though we used to be like second under white people, now we're like behind Asians, Indians, everybody else, right? Most of the issues that are in the Black community, who do they blame? Single parents, right?
Single mother specifically.
So
Damn, Venus, you breaking up again.
I was saying, so why would we be speaking about marriage if most of the problems that we have are because we have an anti-marriage culture?
That's not true though. The,
No,
the
it's a
problems are
fact.
usually attributed the problems are usually attributed to single mothers, not single parents. Because if you look at the statistics of single fathers, you see that they have very high outcomes that are almost on par with those of married couples. So what that shows me, which is what I said earlier, is that men are the order. It's not the contract, it's not the relationship that's the order. It's the presence of a man that creates the order, which is why any circumstance where a man is not present is where you have bad outcomes. But it has nothing to do with whether those people are married or not. It only has to do with
Well,
whether a man is present or not.
how if you're a single mother, you're not married? It has everything to do. I don't understand that.
You could be a single mother that's in a relationship and a man
No,
is present. What are you talking
right.
about? You don't
So
have
it
to be
has
married to
everything
have
to
a man
do.
present. You don't have to be married to have a man present. You don't have to be
It
married to have
has
a child with someone and co-parent.
it has everything to do with it because we see the current day result of what happens when people are not married. So yeah,
When women are raising children on their own, not when people
Mhm.
aren't married. I believe you're conflating the two. I
Yeah, a
think
woman.
I think it's more about women being raising kids on their own rather than it's about people not being married specifically. Because if you take two people and put them in a household together and they're not married, you'll get those same good benefits that you get of a married couple. So clearly it's not the marriage, it's the man and women being married.
But what if those
Wait,
situations are
how?
statistically?
Wait. How is he saying that when we see the opposite right now, and you don't get those same? It's not the same.
Because we're not seeing the opposite. When you see single fathers, the children are well adjusted. When you see men and women that are cohabitating together raising children, the children are well adjusted. When you see men and women that are married, the children are well adjusted. The only time you see the statistics start to go down is when it is a woman by herself raising a child.
Wait, what
That's
proof
the
do
only
we
time.
what proof do we have of this? Because The single
I
father
mean,
rate
there's
is
statistics on
wait,
single parent
you
households.
wait, hold on. The single father rate is way too low to be compared to any other statistic, right? That's just way too low. And then the couples who are shacking up, how are we measuring the success of their kids? What do we have?
Well, Venus,
I
I was
mean,
actually
are
going to
they
say that
criminals? I mean,
I had recently read exactly what you were talking about, and it did speak to that in terms of sample size. So, if we do look at the sample size of single-led households by moms versus dads, the truth of the matter is, majority of single-led households, the kids actually do well, right? If we look at most single-led households, most of the kids are not in jail, right? Most of the kids are not on drugs, right? If we look at that sample size. But when we are only looking at those sample size of kids who are actually in jail, are actually doing drugs, right? Most of them are coming from single households that are led by mothers, right? So we have to look at that. So when most of
You didn't really negate my point though.
right, no, I'm agreeing with you. That's my point. So when you have most of the sample size that are coming from mothers and you compare with fathers, of course the fathers are going to look a whole lot better. I'm not taking the credit away from the fathers, but you do have to look at the sample size from that specific population. That's all I'm saying. So I totally agree with you when you're comparing the sample size, when you got hundreds of thousands coming from one and then you only have hundreds coming from the other, it skews that sample size. And then the other
Pardon
thing
me.
too is that I did see a study that actually did compare cohabitating and with marriage, and the sample size from that, it did show that what, speaking to your point, the outcome from the marriages actually showed better results and impact from the married couples versus the cohabitating couples.
Oh, and I had another thing about if we look at most successful men in this country, they're married all across the board. Businessmen, entrepreneurs, politics. If we look at the most successful men, period, they're married. Majority of them. So I don't know why men don't look at that. And
Yeah, yeah,
also, when it comes to socioeconomic status, usually the married couples are doing better than single individuals. So again, I just don't understand why we're pushing like this single raising a kid by yourself is the way. Is really not.